Hi, my name's Eddy Harber. I'm a self-employed functional apparel designer, performance apparel designer. And in 2000, I was working for Nike in their apparel innovation team as a senior designer. And really, the job description was to innovate around apparel and to focus specifically on performance. When I arrived at Nike, I was introduced to the guy who I was going to be working with this project throughout most of my time at Nike. His name was Rick McDonald. And Rick said, let's design, or what we want to do is design a suit that will help people to run faster. That was the brief. And we put our heads together and we came up with a list of topics that we felt potentially could enable us to design that kind of a garment. And in that list was thermoregulation and training and compression, and one of them was aerodynamics. And at the time when we began to work on the project, the Nagano Olympics were on, and there was a lot in the press about speed skating suits. So obviously we were influenced by that. And at the time we were researching and reading a lot of literature and getting deep into the topics. And we kept coming up with these two names, Len Brownlee and Chet Kyle. And these two guys seem to be the global authorities on aerodynamics in clothing and in sport. So we rang them, we contacted them, and they came into Nike, and we had this all-day kind of conversation about this. And we kind of kicked off the thinking about aerodynamics at that point. And so really that was the inspiration for the suit, was research and performance, and how do we enable an athlete to run faster. And really the key influence, the key inspiration for the suit became aerodynamics. The process was really a research-based design methodology, finding topics that we felt potentially could influence the speed that an athlete can run at, and then researching, learning, and getting our knowledge to the point where we could question the existing knowledge, the state of the art. We could look at it and we could say, well, maybe if we tried this or we tweaked this, we could come up with a new idea, or we could improve on it. And really the key thing that happened with that process is we decided that it would be worth experimenting with putting different textures on different parts of the body. Different textures have different effects on aerodynamics, so a rougher texture will affect a certain size and speed of object than a different texture on a faster, smaller part of the object. So what we did was we broke down the athlete's body into components and said, right, on the hands we're going to need a shiny, slick fabric, because that's very small and it's moving really fast. And then the torso needs a different texture, and the legs need a different texture. So that was really the big innovation for the suit, and it had never been done before, was we broke it down into these sections that needed different textures to maximize the aerodynamic effect of the suit. And Cathy became involved in the project, I'm thinking about halfway through, when Nike signed Australia. The word went around that we were going to be working with Cathy, which was hugely exciting for us, because we knew obviously the Olympics were going to be in Sydney, and we knew the importance of Cathy's race. And she fell within the speed that we'd assigned for the suit, because the suit was only going to work between 400 meters and below, down to 100 meters, and for long jump and hurdles. So we were like, so it's these fast athletes could only wear the suit because the aerodynamics were designed for these high speeds. So we were super excited that Cathy was involved. And we met with her really, as soon as they were signed, we met with her. I think the first meeting was in Beaverton at the Nike campus. We had meetings and we showed her the research, and we had suits at the time. And then the process continued, and we began to send her suits to Melbourne, and she would try them and then give us feedback, talk into a camera and say, this is uncomfortable, or this is a bit tight here. And then we would get the video and we could make the changes to the suit. We also met her on several occasions. I'm guessing about 5 times we met face to face, but there's multiple back and forth via video, which is great. And by the time we met with Cathy, the science had been done. We'd done hours and hours of wind tunnel testing, and we'd sort of had nailed down these textures, and we had a suit. So what we really wanted to do with Cathy was make sure that this suit was perfect for her. And so we were talking a lot about fit. Cathy has long legs, so we had to make, her torso was actually a size small, so that was good, but her legs were so long we had to make a custom suit for her to make sure her legs were long enough. So that was really our interaction with Cathy. And I mean, one thing I remember is she said to me, when I'm running I can hear the air buzzing past my ears, because it had like a mesh covering here. And I was like, okay, is that a problem? Do we need to change it? He said, no. She said, it feels fine, it feels good, but I'm not used to it. And then she ran in Gateshead a few months prior to the Olympics earlier in the year. And it was cold and wet and stuff, but she said at the time that she felt she was like cutting through the air with the suit, so we were really encouraged. On the night of the race, the 400 meter final in Sydney, we didn't know that Cathy was going to wear the suit. We had met with her, we had talked with her, and she'd never looked us in the eyes and said, I'm going to wear this on the final, probably because she didn't know. She hadn't decided, maybe she had, I don't know. So the night of, we go to the stadium, and there was a few rumours knocking around, coming through the grapevine that she might wear the suit, she might not. And bear in mind, up to this point, no one had worn the hood. So it was a complete sort of unknown. We talked a lot about it, but no one had worn it. They'd worn the hoodless suit in the rounds. So this was our big hope as the designers of the suit. Is she going to wear the Swift suit? So we get on the bus, we go to the stadium, and we walk through the barrier, and it's just massive night. It's the night of the Olympics. It's 111,000 people in there. And Rick and I and the whole Nike crew are sort of like in one line at the other end of the stadium to where Cathy is going to come in through the tunnel. And obviously we know she's about to come out at this time because she's going to warm up and stuff. So we've got binoculars on that tunnel over there. And Rick's got the binoculars, shared binoculars. So Rick's looking over, and she comes out and she's in her warm-up. So we can't see what she's wearing under the warm-ups. So Rick's got his eyes on her. And she leans down to do up a shoelace, and he sees the silver hand kind of appear out from under her warm-ups, and he's like, she's in it, she's wearing it. And we were like, oh my God, this is huge, this is amazing. Some anxiety about the outcome of the race. I mean, I was like, great, and Rick was like, you know, let's hope she wins this thing, you know, otherwise we're gonna be in big trouble, because she's wearing this crazy looking suit thing. But she obviously won the race, and it was amazing. It was just that the whole stadium was exploding with passion. When she turned that corner and she crossed that line, it was just incredible. It was an incredible moment.